Hi, this is Gaurav Sood, the Managing Director of Solar Direct Energy India Private Limited. It's a 100% subsidiary of the French company Solar Direct SA, which is one of the largest independent solar power producers out of France. We have an integrated business model which plans right from engineering, procurement, construction, fundraising and selling power to the end consumer. And using this integrated model, we have been able to install a close to 250 megawatt solar PV projects till date. Majority of these projects are in France, whereas we have installed around 16 megawatts in the Indian market with projects under the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. We are also present in South Africa, where we are recently building a 20 megawatt project. We are present in Chile. We are looking at entering the US and Thailand as well, and few other markets which are promising. We as a company, are proud to be amongst the most competitive power producers in all the countries wherever we operate, and our business model is primarily aligned to produce competitive solar power. And I would say the most affordable solar power, as close to the grid parity, or I would say as close to the grid power as possible. And that's what we have attained in every country. In India, when we entered, we participated in the part 2 of phase 1 of Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. And we were the most competitive bidder in the country at a tariff of 7 rupees 49 paisa per unit. This project has been successfully commissioned in February 2013 within the timelines as required by NVVN. We took non-recourse financing from State Bank of India, and also we used local content in terms of modules, inverters. Rather, the entire plant had 100% domestic content. So we are very proud of the fact of what we have attained with local financing, local content, and fulfilling the missions and objectives of the Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. Recently, we have won a 20 megawatt project in Punjab, where again we are amongst the most competitive bidders. We bid at a tariff of 7.99 per kilowatt hour. This project will start construction in somewhere in another 2 to 3 months, and we plan to commission it by June 2014. Talking a little bit about what are the different challenges, or rather I would say, rather than challenges, what are the how the project's financial viability is looked at, and at solar projects in India. Now financial viability, I always look at it, depends on who your stakeholders are and what are their expectations. So if your stakeholders are, let's say, on the equity side, if they are private equity funds, of course their return expectations are very different. Whereas if they are, let's say, multilateral agencies or pension infrastructure funds, their expectations are different in terms of returns. Even their investment horizon varies. So very clearly, what a project would be viable to a pension fund or an infrastructure fund may or may not be viable for a private equity fund because of the returns from that project. Similarly, when it comes to lenders, who are the other major stakeholders, if it is corporate finance, the lender will be okay to take care of various, will be okay to, take care of various risks perceived in a project because he has the comfort of a balance sheet, so his entire outlook on the viability is very different. Whereas when it comes to let's say a pure play project financing or a non-recourse financing, the outlook is very different. The lender would be very concerned and particular about whether the project generates adequate cash flows to fulfill its obligations, whether the sufficient DSCR or cash sweep or other measures have been put in place to ensure that there is no default at all. So all these things are, again, from a lender also, his perspective would be very different on the viability of a project. Then it comes to let's say cost of a kilowatt hour. The cost of a kilowatt hour is primarily will be driven by the capex and the cost of financing. cost of financing itself contributes almost 50 to 60% the cost of a kilowatt hour. Hence, it is very important how do we lower this cost of financing. Now, the cost of financing can be lowered provided your project has very minimum risks, which means that we need to identify those risks and mitigate those risks. So if you see at the complete different stages of a project, let's say first of all starting from an off-taker perspective, the off-taker is very critical. If your off-taker is bankable, has a good credit rating, the lenders and investors are more comfortable. So it's very important to have that in place. Then it comes about the legal document, which is the power purchase agreement, which forms the contract between the seller and the off-taker. Now this PPA needs to have a lot of clauses built in, like it should be a take or pay contract. It could be in terms of an escrow mechanism, in terms of some payment security mechanism, some LC given for receivables. So I think once these measures are put in place, very clearly the PPA bankability also determines the cost of financing to a large extent. Then it comes to, let's say, on the next aspect being what we say would be the special purpose vehicle, which is housing the project. So it's very important to understand the developer profile. The developer, if it's a reputed developer with a good track record, it always helps. Similarly, whether he has taken the right structuring from different tax legal advisors. Similarly, he should have appointed different insurance advisors, taken appropriate insurances. He should have appointed the right EPC company. So all these factors are equally important. And when it comes to project specific, the land needs to be in place. The name of the company, it should be converted to NA. The evacuation arrangement needs to be in place. Permits and clearances need to be in place. So all those basic ingredients need to be in place. Then the next factor which comes is primarily what we call it as the EPC company profile. As long as the EPC company is an experienced player, brings the reputed components, has a good track record, gives the requisite warranties and guarantees, I think this gives a lot of comfort to the investors and lenders, and hence helps to lower the risk profile of the project. Then it further, if you look at back, the sort of components you're using, panels for example, which form almost 50% of the cost. The panels need to be, from a bankable tier 1 manufacturer. They need to be backed by let's say, a third-party insurance. Similarly, the inverters need to be such. The O&M contract should be such it covers the spare parts over the life of the asset. So I mean to say, the idea is how do you, take out each of the risks one by one and keep on mitigating them, by virtue of which you are able to take out the risk to the maximum possible extent out of the project and give comfort to the lenders and investors. And hence, you will be able to lower the cost of financing and make the project more and more viable. So that's roughly what I would say are the different ways of looking at a project level. When it comes to looking at a broader level of a sector, I feel we have been lucky in this country with the government coming with its initiatives both at the center and the state level. The National Solar Mission has been a very successful program. So is the Gujarat policy and various other state policies which have helped us to build a good ecosystem. Now what is required is to arrive at the right policy framework for taking India to the next level. And in that, one very critical aspect is the financing. How do we attract large pools of money for this capital intensive sector from investors who have long-term horizons and have lower return expectations? Because that is what is the most important ingredient which is required to take this sector to the next level. I think apart from that, a lot of electricity regulatory reforms with respect to, which are required to open up the market. Let's say from a point of view of open access charges, banking, transmission, wheeling, all these need to be in place, or I would say rather these need to be waived off or reduced to encourage the growth of this sector. And so where private PPAs can be signed rather than having pure government PPAs or depending on for subsidy of government. So I think these two would be important actions to be taken. And once all these things are put in place, solar has a very, very very, I would say, strong potential for this country and will form an important part of the energy mix.